President William Ruto tore into his perceived opponents in a New Year's speech laden with accusations of sabotage against what he called his administration's plan to reshape the country. The president taking on the opposition and singling out key opponents of his pet housing and health insurance projects. During the address, the president also took issue with the endless litigation against government programs, with ominous signs of his administration's dealings with independent institutions. Stephen Letoo reports.
Hours before the year 2024 kicked, President William Ruto had no kind words for the opponents of his administration's policies who have been a thorn in the government's flesh. He said his was a new way of doing things, saying that it threatened the privileges of dominant minority and beneficiaries of an unjust system.
Their associates can attempt to hijack national institutions, turning them into anti-people weapons for a select privileged few and saboteurs of inclusive transformation for the majority.
He talked of government policies that have become delayed, obstructed or hampered by various challenges. At the heart of his onslaught were two of the president's pet projects, both the subjects of ongoing court cases, but which he delved into anyway. The first, the affordable housing project, which has been placed in limbo by a court decision that declared the housing tax unconstitutional, and another court ruling that has stopped public participation on the new affordable housing bill.
This is what happens when a public servant enjoying a house mortgage at 3% interest makes a decision to frustrate the housing program, robbing millions of young people employment prospects.
The president seemingly miffed by the legal challenges to new healthcare provision laws that are supposed to affect the social healthcare insurance fund.
This is also the case when a public officer who benefits from unlimited medical insurance invokes the law to derail the universal health care delivery, denying millions of vulnerable Kenyans a health cover.
He spoke of the need to exercise caution to ensure the pursuit of constitutionalism and obedience to the law does not turn into what he called an empty ritual amid hollow vanity for a majority of Kenyans. The president categorical about the cases that face Kenya Kwanza's contentious policies.
There is something wrong with litigation sponsored by hostage-taking vested interests with the sole aim to delay, derail and sabotage the delivery of public programs and defeat public interest.
His words on independent institutions seemingly a veiled warning.
We must ensure that institutional independence does not mutate into impunity and avoidance of accountability.
The president also directed his barrage at the opposition, which he accused of undermining and sabotaging the national interest and welfare of Kenyans.
You will agree with me that there is something fundamentally wrong with opposition without any viable alternative, whose only purpose is division, conflict, and anarchy.
His sentiments comes days after opposition leader Raila warned that the opposition will mobilize Kenyans to embark on mass action if the Finance Act is not repealed, in the face of several legal challenges to projects that his administration has forced through Parliament despite the public outcry against the same. Stephen Letoo, Citizen TV.